I think we're all expecting a new Pokémon Legends ZA trailer to come out during Pokémon Worlds, as this event always has something new to show us regarding the next Pokémon titles. I can't deny that I'm a little bit hesitant, as Pokémon usually shows competitive things during Worlds, and without a competitive game on the way, a very small and very afraid part of me feels we might not get anything. But I won't and will ignore that part. Legends Arceus got a crazy August trailer after all, even though there were no Worlds in 2021. I can't wait to know the starters, the characters, and above all, the release date. So hey, I'm not so a strainer, and when could Pokémon Legends ZA be coming out? Let's get into it. When we got that new Legends teaser during Pokémon Day, we barely got anything revealed, which is very unlike any Pokémon trailer we got in the last few years. Even at the end, right before the Mega Evolution Return reveal, we were simply treated to a good old releases simultaneously worldwide in 2025. If they had said 2024, we could bet that these games would be released in November, as Pokémon games often are. It gets the iron very hot and ready to be stricken during the holiday season, and that makes people not think twice before buying it. Like you shouldn't think twice about subscribing to the channel and liking this video. Still, I do believe that there are only two real options as to when this game is coming out, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. The middle of the year or summertime period is one that we can completely discard from the conversation. While back in the day it used to be a common time of the year for Pokémon releases in the West, as Pokémon Emerald was released in May, North America, Diamond and Pearl in April and July in North America and Europe respectively, and even Pokémon Black and White being released in March in both regions, ever since Pokémon went with simultaneous releases with Pokémon X and Y, we always had main series games being released later in the year during or close to the holiday season. The middle of the year or the summer, that's spin-off time now, and I don't think anyone can take it away from them. By discarding the middle of the year, the summertime, we get the beginning and the end of the year, of course. And we wouldn't even be discussing the beginning of the year if it wasn't for the other only Legends title we ever got being released in January. That broke a pattern that we thought was established, and now we kinda have to question everything. In 2021, Pokémon announced both Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Pokémon Legends Arceus. The Sinnoh remakes played the role of the holiday season game, the ones that would drive the last sales of the year, while Legends Arceus was strangely placed only 2 months apart from them, driving the last sales of the fiscal year. In fact, that game was released in January and had its DLC announced less than a month later during the Pokémon Presents for Pokémon Day. With no game being released in 2024, it would be fair to assume that in order to not completely miss this year's holiday season, they would release Pokémon Legends ZA early in the year like they did with Legends Arceus. That would get them a whole bunch of sales to end the fiscal year, and it would likely almost coincide, or actually coincide, with the release of the next Nintendo Switch. By doing this, they would release their likely last game on the console during a time when the successor was still either very new or not here at all, since they expect it to be released during March 2025, since it's the end of the fiscal year and all that. In my opinion, that would be better than to release a new game, a Legends game, during a time when the new console was already established, despite that being what they did with Let's Go. Nintendo, having one of their biggest software sellers ignore their main console with their main game of the year, could end up not being a good thing, though this could all be avoided by simply having backwards compatibility with Switch titles. That would make people not stray away from buying this new game or console, since it could be played on both. And I honestly believe this will be the case, since Nintendo does this very often. Game Boy Advance could run Game Boy Color games, early DS could run Game Boy Advance games, and the 3DS could run DS games. So Legends ZA will be released in January, right? It feels like a good time since both Nintendo and Pokémon are starting a new cycle, and it's the time to start marketing Gen 10 and the 30th anniversary for 2026. I know, I also feel old, don't feel bad. Despite this, I don't think January is the absolute choice for the release of this game, mostly because there are also arguments for it to be released later down in the year. It all comes down to the actual footage we got in Pokémon Day, the reveal trailer that was barely a trailer, the teaser. It didn't show us anything. You go back to the Pokémon Legends Arceus reveal trailer, and you could feel that the game already had legs to stand on. Yeah, it kinda ran like it was being played on a toaster, but we had in-game footage of various different areas, we saw the main characters, we saw mechanics being used in-game, we saw the starters, and we even saw Arceus at the end looking all mysterious. It felt like a proper trailer, a trailer of a game that was coming out in January, but could easily come out in November as well. This time, unless everything changes until Pokémon Worlds, I don't think we'll be seeing anything like that. Part of me wants to be proven wrong. I mean, the hype season from August to January would go absolutely insane. Imagine 5 months of at least monthly trailers. That would surely make people go mad about Pokémon again, something that I feel was lost considering we had such a bare bones trailer. Form reveals, mega reveals, character reveals, things would go crazy. Still, we can't forget something very important. We got 7 trailers for Pokémon Legends Arceus after the February one, and I can't deny that the August one was the craziest one we ever had. It was the one they revealed the rides, noble Pokémon and a bunch of characters, and I still have chills just thinking about it. It is entirely possible that we get exactly that at the World Championships. The spotlight at the time was divided between the Sinnoh remakes, Pokémon Brilliant Diamond and Pokémon Shining Pearl, and Pokémon Legends Arceus, and even then, we got a lot of information packed into a single less than 4 minutes video. It is possible something like that happens once more, and with the overall hype that Mega Evolution, Zygarde, Kalos and the Legends moniker bring to the table, it is enough to release the game in January like the former Legends title. While I would prefer the game being released early in the year, I kinda see some issues in that as well. Pokémon Legends ZA, if released early in the year in January, it means it will have the same development cycle that any other Pokémon game had, the same as Pokémon Legends Arceus or Scarlet and Violet. And it could also mean that we would have a 2022 on our hands. 2022 saw not only the release of Pokémon Legends Arceus in January, but also Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet in November. Both games, especially the latter, looked as if they needed some extra time and manpower on them, and I fear something like that could happen again. Releasing the game later in the year would prevent something like this from happening, though the marketing cycle would be huge. Think about it, teaser on Pokémon Day 2024 and another trailer on Pokémon Day 2025 for a game that would be released almost in 2026. That is very un-Pokémon-like. So, with all that we spoke about, I see things happening in the following way. Pokémon Legends ZA, despite what the first teaser lacked, will be a January title, something that will become apparent after the new expected Worlds trailer. It will come out early in the year, like I said, either at the same time or just before the release of the new Nintendo Switch. At Pokémon Day 2025, they will likely reveal a remake for the end of the year. Something that could give us our first exclusive new Switch title and maybe our first Pokémon Works title as well, saving Gen 10 for 2026 and the 30th anniversary. It isn't perfect, and I do wish we lived in a world where Pokémon could actually have something very well polished in January, since I want this game to come out as perfect as it could be. But looking at all we have, I think this will likely be it. My opinion, of course, this is nothing more than that. Still, August is when I'm pretty sure everything, or almost everything, will be answered. And that is all I have for you today. I believe Pokémon Legends ZA will be released in January, though only August can really tell us the answer. But what about you? When do you see this game being released? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. Also, you can become a channel member or check out my merch in order to further support the channel. I'd be forever thankful for that. You can follow me on social media or check out one of my streams here and on Twitch. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.